Hey, what's up, everybody? We have a new YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe right now. Leave a comment on the video. Share it with your friends. It's also a podcast, 3 and Out, wherever you listen with me, John Middlekauff, Apple, Spotify. We have you covered, as well as thevolume.com. We have merch. Check out. I got 3 and Out hats right now. Thevolume.com. Search the podcast. Buy some merch. Okay, day number 2 of free agency, and we have some things not happening, like Justin Fields still on the Bears, and then we have some movement. Derrick Henry, Ravens, Patrick Queen went from Ravens to the Steelers, and Sam Darnold is now, at least before the draft, the starting quarterback, taking over for Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings. So I will give some thoughts. And obviously, I want to address, because it went pretty viral, of what Tiki had said about Saquon. And then I think you're going to see it with Queen leaving the Ravens to the Steelers. I have some thoughts when it comes to guys leaving teams for rival teams in the same division. I mean, we've seen it in sports forever, but obviously that's a hot button topic right now. But I want to start with Justin Fields. And I think a lot of people are surprised that he not only has he not been traded, there's not really much talk about him being traded. And you start looking around and you ask yourself, where is he going to go? Where is the opening for Fields to land? And it's not easy to find an answer. And I think here's the complicated part for Chicago, because I think right now you're not in a huge rush. There's no practice tomorrow. You're not going to have both guys in the building. And big picture, I have seen some people say, like, I heard Florio say this today, why don't you keep them both? If you had Mike Tomlin or Jim or John Harbaugh or Belichick or just Shanahan, McVay, a established coach who has equity and is willing to handle the circus that, let's face it, would become Caleb Williams and Justin Fields taking the practice field every day together in training camp, I'd say I wouldn't recommend it, but you guys know your locker room better than me. Okay. To me, Matt Eberflus, who is in a position where if he doesn't make the playoffs, he's getting shit canned. It's over. He didn't just change his look and looks way cooler now for no reason. Like, this is a big year. A lot of changes going on. It's now or never. And you cannot have Justin Fields and Caleb Williams taking training camp running out together. That's not possible for a guy like Eberflus. Not only would probably most people not even recommend it if you're an established coach, this organization, this situation, and it's also stupid to take a guy number 1 overall. It's one thing if it's Alex Smith, established starter, is a good player, and another guy that's not that good, like Caleb Williams beating him out, going to make him look worse. Here's the thing. Mac Jones. Jerry Jones traded for Trey Lance last year, which I thought was nuts, giving a 4th-round pick. And the Niners would have driven Trey Lance from the Bay Area to Dallas to drop him off for that 4th-round pick. Now, one thing Jerry had is he got 2 years of Trey Lance. Last year and this year. That's assuming he's not picking up the 5th-year option, which I think it's fair to assume he's not going to do it. Well, these two guys, Justin Fields and Mac Jones, are not 5th-year option players. Both of them, easy decline. And Mac Jones, while it's been a while, and he was god-awful last year, has proven that he can function in the NFL as a pocket passer. Long time ago. Justin Fields has not. Now, Fields is a dramatically better athlete, much more explosive player. I would mess with Justin Fields before I mess with Mac Jones. But Mac Jones, who's going to have his 5th-year option declined, was just traded for a 6th-round pick. All of these contracts and trades are based on market comps, no different than real estate. Anyone who's bought a house in the last 5 years or looking to buy a house now, anyone knows your real estate agent is giving you comps. The moment you want to lowball or get aggressive, it's all based on the other homes in the neighborhood. Mac Jones is that other home, and he went for a 6th-round pick. So at best, you are getting a 5th-round pick for Justin Fields. So to me, if that's the case, not doing it. At least right now. Now, I have to pull the trigger by the draft But as of right now, I will just take a deep breath. Because here's the, I would say, lingering elephant in the room. Maybe if you'd eat a couple $1,000,000, because Fields, like Mac Jones, going to be a backup. Mac Jones is cheaper because he was a couple picks later, and make his salary $2 to $3 million instead of, I think it's like 5.5, 6. Maybe a team with an established quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Matt Stafford, who knows, is willing to pick up the phone. Hey, we'll give you a 4th or 5th round pick around the draft. But as of right now, that's not happening because those type teams are definitely not in a rush. So the market was pretty well established the moment Mac Jones was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 6th round pick. That's the neighborhood you're talking with Justin Fields. I know social media thought he was, a top 10 quarterback halfway through last season. Clearly not the case. I know everyone thought the Bears were going to beat the Packers in that Week 18 game. Clearly didn't happen. They got fucking worked. And a big reason was this guy can't function within the pocket. And I'm not some hater, right? I love the guy coming out in the draft. But you got to change your opinion. All of our opinions are based on what we see, right? You love a company, you invest in it, put $50,000 in a company. You love it a lot more when it goes up 50%. You're not as enamored with it when it gets cut in half. Okay, Sam Darnold was signed by the Minnesota Vikings. This one's not that complicated. It's pretty clear Minnesota, and I said this yesterday, had a number with Cousins. They weren't going to go above it. And honestly, they knew they weren't even in the game anymore. He was gone. Now, they need someone to play quarterback. And Sam Darnold is essentially their Baker Mayfield this year, what he was to Tampa Bay. Now, the difference is why Tampa got him for $4 million, now ended up with incentives, paid him like a little over 6.5. And Sam Darnold got 10 is because Sean Payton wanted him. But because of Denver's cap issues, he could only get so high to pay for him. And so they gave him $10 million to be their bridge quarterback. A lot like the Raiders were doing with Gardner Minshew. Now, here's the thing. If you just go on the social media streets or listen to the media talk about Sam Darnold, they would consistently say he sucks. He ain't any good. Yet when I look at the people interested in Sam Darnold, it's Kyle Shanahan, it's Sean Payton, it's Kevin O'Connell. So I like Sam Darnold in college. Obviously, his career has been underwhelming. He played in a couple terrible situations in New York and Carolina. But my opinion, once I don't have that much information, right? He didn't really play last year. Came in a couple spots when Purdy got stingers. But I don't really have much to go off when it comes to Sam Darnold. But I do base, and this is why I believe in Dan Campbell. Who likes Dan Campbell? Bill Parcells, Sean Payton. Kind of matters to me. And so am I going to lean with Shanahan, Payton, and Kevin O'Connell, or a bunch of overweight, overeducated, kind of angry people that write for a living? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I trust these guys. And we've just saw with Baker Mayfield him resurrect his career. So I don't know if he can have some career renaissance where he throws 35 touchdowns, but we're going to find out because it's a team pretty loaded at wide receiver. They got, you could argue, the best wide receiver. Jordan Addison's a damn good young player. They have an excellent offensive coordinator, I believe, in their head coach, Kevin O'Connell. So it's kind of shit or get off the pot moment, but high-level people are believing in Sam Darnold. And when high-level people believe in anyone, in any capacity in this world, like I tend to go, yeah, maybe there's something there. Doesn't mean just because nobody believes in you, you don't have some talent. But I think this one's pretty clear. Like, a lot of people believe there's untapped potential there. He's not 35 years old. Sometimes you just go to a bad spot. We've all probably worked for companies or worked with people that are fucking idiots that most people couldn't succeed with or under. And then you've worked with or for high-level people. It's a lot easier to be successful in those situations. I'm just leaning with the higher level people that believe in this guy. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here. And DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code JOHN, J-O-H-N. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code JOHN. The crown is yours. Derrick Henry to the Ravens. This one, least shocking thing of the day. I think the Ravens, for a long, long period of time, have identified guys like this later on in their career. Because in their organization, you have to be a certain type guy to play for the Ravens. Clearly. Like, the half the league would struggle there. It was no different than the Patriots forever. It's a very physical, focused, and football-only operation. It ain't no country club. Not a lot of screwing around when it comes to football. And Derrick Henry, to me, has like the Ravens, Steelers written all over him his entire career. So when he's available in an operation that likes to run the ball behind Lamar, but yeah, they did this at wide receiver with multiple guys who kind of remind me of Derrick Henry as a player. Tough as shit. A guy you want to be in the trenches with. Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith Sr. They've done it on defense with older players. Calais Campbell. It didn't work, but they signed Earl Thomas. So Derrick Henry to the Ravens, like, is it going to work? He needs a lot of touches. I don't know. They didn't give him that much money. Yeah, there are going to be some games where he doesn't get an unlimited amount of touches and he's a build-up guy, but there are also going to be some games where they just hand him the rock. They're really good. They're going to be beating the crap out of a decent amount of teams. So they can give him 15 to 20 carries if they want. And there are going to be other games where maybe he gets 8 or 9. But where you know he can immediately help them out, short yardage, goal line. And, like, listen, you can already close your eyes and envision packages where, like, Lamar's kind of in the pistol, he's behind him, some outside zone stuff. Like, these running back contracts, I don't like running back contracts if I got to pay you 4 years, $75 million. But even Saquon Barkley, 2 years, $26 million. No big deal. Josh Jacobs, 1 year, $12 million. I didn't even see the actual money on Derrick Henry. Probably not that much. Eckler going for like 4. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Guy, get me 10 touchdowns. So I'm someone that like anti-paying running backs, but not anti-running back. All about value. This is a business. And speaking of a business, Tiki Barber making the comment about Saquon Barkley being dead to him and leaving the operation. Phil Knight had a comment in his book, Shoe Dog, that I will never forget. Because nothing, I think, has ever been summed up the private sector better. And he said, business is a war without bullets. And I think there's a balancing act, right? Whether you run a business, whether you're an employee, whatever you do, treating people well and being nice, like that works, whether it's your kids' friends, your wife's family, or the people you work with, work for, or that work for you. Like there is a way to conduct yourself. But there in the business world, and listen, you're looking at someone that was fired twice by the time he was 31. I became very numb to money and the real world very fucking quick. And you could say I grew up kind of naively in the sense of the way the real world worked. Just both my parents had jobs. I never came home. There wasn't like food on the table. I never went to bed hungry unless I got in trouble and I was told to go to my room, but that was self-inflicted. But you get fired young as an ambitious person. Like, it's actually a pretty good wake-up call. And it helps you kind of become numb to the real fucking world. And money kind of rules the day. And the faster you can realize that, I think the better it can help you understand. Sometimes you got to be cutthroat. Sometimes the person worrying the most about you better be you. Because other people are going to care about themselves, their operation, more than you. And in sports, one thing that is stupid is like when players got to like say, this is a business. Yeah, guys, we know. Like, we understand that. We don't think this is a charity. But when some of these former players and I don't even think it's that many fans, Saquon Barkley wasn't offered a contract from the New York Giants, right? Like, I believe when he played for the Giants, he did everything humanly possible to beat the Eagles. Just like when Patrick Queen played for the Ravens, he did everything in his power to tackle every single person on the Steelers. But once you become a free agent in a sport where the average lifespan is like 3.5, 4 years, you better pounce. And a pet peeve of mine, I hate the word go get the bag. When I pay someone a bag of money, I give you $5,000, $100,000, whatever, like that happened in college football forever. You ain't paying taxes. In this world, you get direct deposits. These are wires that are taxed. And at the rates and the numbers these guys are making at high levels. So there's no bags. This is actual taxable income that the IRS sees. But that's a whole nother tangent. But the reality is, I've never understood if a guy's a free agent. It's one thing, I could understand some animosity if a guy pledges his allegiance, is offered a contract, and then still bolts. You'd be like, what the fuck? That to me would be fair for fans or former players or whoever to be like, what's going on here? But when it's clear, the Ravens ain't re-signing him. The Giants definitely aren't re-signing him. He can go wherever the hell he wants. He can go whoever offers him the best deal that he views to be the best deal or the best situation to play well. And the Eagles, there can't have been many teams offering him more than $26 million who are also pretty good. What have they won? 9 games, 13 or 14 games, and 11 games. They're averaging about 11.5 wins the last 3 years. The New York Giants definitely are not. They had their best season like 6 years and won 9 games 2 years ago. So this notion that you can't leave to go to a rival, bullshit. Especially when your team says like, yeah, hit free agency. Okay, see ya. Fuck you. Can't wait to play you twice a year. Honestly, if I was a player, put yourself in those shoes. If you're a good player, like Saquon Barkley or Patrick Queen. Now, listen, there are financial ramifications. Maybe there's not cap space. You don't care. If you go, wait, you're going to let me go to this other team that you know is playing us twice a year? If that doesn't motivate that player, imagine putting yourself in that situation. You're just average Joe in America making 75 grand. Let's say you're on a contract. Contract's up. All of a sudden, your company's like, yeah, we don't really think you're worth it. And then the rival company, who is going head to head, offers you 125 grand. You would never look at the place you used to work, no matter how long you'd worked there, the same. I know the way I'm wired, I'd have double middle fingers. I think about every day how I'm going to make them look terrible. So you could say I tend to be a little more pro management and pro team because that's the way I look at the sport. But to me, give me a break. This is just basic, this is basic logic here. They didn't even have a contract offer from the team. So what was Saquon supposed to do? Just play for the Giants for free? They didn't even want him on the squad anymore. So, yeah, I mean, Tiki, listen, I think Tiki kind of a clown, but separate from even this comment. But overall, like, the argument that you can't go to some rival, like, this is not junior high football here. I mean, this is multi-billion-dollar business, and you go wherever the money's flowing.